Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, this time with 2 reviews in one video. And 2 Luc Besson films, because I've kind of been on a Luc Besson track record here in terms of rewatching old films of his that I have seen but haven't seen in years, or films of his that I've never seen. I'm just kind of burning through his filmography here. In the last video, I stated pretty much that Luc Besson to me is kind of a hit or miss director, and I still kind of feel that way, but at the same time, when he is good, he's really good. Or he's at least solid, to where it's really enjoyable. So yeah, I'm going to do Femme, Nikita, and Leon and the Professional here pretty much in one video, because these films almost feel like they're in the same universe, to be honest. Like, you really could, if you wanted to, make this just one universe, and it really feels that way. They even use some of the same terminology, like the word cleaner and stuff, for some of the assassins and things like that. Pretty much with Femme, Nikita, you have a female character here who's like a UK-style hardcore punk rocker chick, and she's just like strung out on drugs and stuff. But you never really get an explanation for why she turned out this way. She is a little bit two-dimensional for most of the movie, but the actress here does a really great job. She pretty much plays it as she's like kind of crazy with bipolar disorder, really. And she's just like going around biting people in the ear and shit. And her and her friends try to rob this pharmacy. She accidentally kills somebody because she's so strung out on drugs. And she gets arrested. All her friends get killed. They get gunned down, producing an action scene. And that's one thing. This is not an action movie. This is much more like a character piece thriller, really, about a woman who becomes an assassin. But she gets took to jail, and then she gets recruited by this dude named Bob for this organization who's training people to be assassins. I wasn't really sure if they actually just train women to be assassins or if they train just anybody. I guess it's just anybody. And of course, we get to see her try to adapt and then try to domesticate her, civilize her. And she's running around, biting people in the ear, her karate instructors and shit. It's pretty funny, actually. Some of the moments are kind of funny. But the actress, she's doing a good job, but she's playing it as like she's crazy with bipolar disorder or whatever, and like a manic depressive and all that. She does get a little over the top, but she does a really good job. And by the time you get to the point in the movie where she is much more civilized and has transformed, you really buy it. The actress does a good job. And by the end of the movie, she does a great job. She's the best thing about this movie. And the guy who plays Bob in here, I recognize from some other Luc Besson projects and stuff. He was the bad guy in Kiss of the Dragon with Jet Li, where you kept calling Jet Li's character like Johnny Boy or something like that, which was pretty funny. And he was also the bad guy in the movie Bad Boys with the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, which was, he's an enjoyable actor. This guy is likable to watch for me. But yeah, just seeing you in here, though, made me laugh the whole time because I kept thinking of Kiss the Dragon and Bad Boys. But yeah, he's in here, and he's just like trying to coach her and all that. And you get the idea that there might be like a romance, like he might have a thing for her. But at the same time, you also get the idea that he's faithful to his job and to his work, and he's deliberately playing that up to give her like a father figure. Kind of reminds you of what Luc Besson also does in Leon the Professional with the relationship between Jean Reno and Natalie Portman in that one. But yeah, it's similar to that. He's with some of the same themes, and he's like playing it up, of course, to try to gain her trust and all that. One of the problems with this movie is some of the time skip things they do. You don't really get a full development of certain things that are the more interesting aspects of the movie. Like, once he tells her that she only has like so long to like start reforming and showing potential, otherwise they'll have to dump her back in the prison system or whatever. It just kind of does a time skip, and now she's like, prettying herself up and everything. And she's a very attractive woman, so it's not bad or anything. But at the same time, though, it just does a time skip to where you're like, well, what the hell did happen? We're just supposed to like infer just the same thing with the way her character, how she is, like she's got really hardcore bipolar disorder and drug abuse problems and like. We're just supposed to infer from her look and her being like a hardcore punk, look and all that, of what kind of person she is. But we never really get it detailed, and that is kind of a problem. But the actress's solid acting, though, kind of carries it. We get up to the next part of the movie, next half of the movie after that, where it's like her trying to adjust to like normal life and everything. And she ends up meeting this dude at a grocery store where she's working. He's like a checkout dude, and she's got a job there. And she plays it very cute, this actress does. She's very adorable. And they form a romance. And I wasn't sure where this movie was going to go because I hadn't seen it in years. So watching it again, it was like seeing it for the first time. And so I wasn't sure where it was going to go. I wasn't sure what kind of movie this was going to be by the end. Like, is this going to be like an action film? Is it going to be like a thriller action movie, character study? Like, where the hell is this going? I started to think maybe she would turn on her organization that she's working for as an assassin because they would see her getting distracted from her duties and end up killing her, soon-to-be husband or whatever, and she would turn on them and it would become like an action fest. But they don't go that way, and that's fine. For what this movie is, I would give this a 3 out of 4. It's a good flick. By the time you get to the end, she's doing a job or whatever, and it goes awry, and everything becomes chaos. And so she's stealing some some papers or whatever, and she decides to run off because she doesn't want to work for the organization or anything anymore, and she can't take her man with her that she's in love with. And you get really like this really sweet moment at the end between the two, where he's like, "I know what you do. I've known what you do, or whatever, and I accept it because I love you," you know. And she runs off, and the dude Bob shows up at the end, and he's pretty much talking to the guy about how they're both gonna miss her or whatever, and the movie just ends. You know, she has to run off to protect herself. And I heard the actress say that there's really not anything left to explore with this character. You could do more with this character with a sequel, and I'm surprised there never was one. Like, you really could explore more with this. There's even potential here with this movie and Leon the Professional because of the connections to where you could just expand and make your own Luc Besson universe out of this if you wanted. But yeah, they don't, and they just keep it as a self-contained film. And maybe that's for the better, because just because you can expand something doesn't mean you really have to. So yeah, all in all, this is a 3 out of 4 flick. I do wish that they would have explored the relationship and how it came together between Nikita and her husband, or whatever, or soon-to-be husband, fiance, or whatever in this movie. Like, there was more that could have been done with that because that's kind of the heart of the movie by the end. And they could have explored a little bit of how they got together more. But you do buy it because the actors have good chemistry together. It just kind of does another time skip thing from after they meet and sleep together the first time all the way until, like, you know, they're a solid couple. You could have explored that a little more. But yeah, on all 3 out of 4, this was a good one. I liked it. You get to Leon and Professional. You got Jean Reno back here, who also played one of the cleaner guys who was killed in the action scene in Nikita. He's back here in this one, and he does a great job here. He is really good as the lead here. And then you got Natalie Portman, who actually surprised me the most, because I'm always used to seeing her in like the Star Wars prequels and everything, which are very mixed bag films and not very good, except for kind of Revenge of the Sith. And then you get to Gary Oldman in this movie. He pretty much makes the movie. He is hilarious as all hell in this, with how over the top he is as a villain. And you got Natalie Portman's character in this, and you kind of get the idea that she's somebody. She kind of reminds me of the Nikita character, also in terms of the way she looks from that movie. And you get the idea here that she's somebody with a real terrible home life, and she's never had like a man, you know, protect her or show any kind of interest in her in any way beyond like abusing her, because that's all her dad does to her. And after her family's killed by Gary Oldman because the dude's like late on finding some drugs or whatever that they need, she pretty much gets saved by Jean Reno, who treats her like from a father-daughter's perspective, but she sees it as a romantic thing because she's confused about her feelings and everything, because she's a young girl and she's never had a man show any kind of love or interest in her because her dad always treated her like shit. And you get her little brother, who also got killed, so that was the one she had affection for, and she wants revenge, of course, on Gary Oldman's people and him because they killed her family and killed her little brother. So yeah, you get some really like uncomfortable scenes where she's like modeling outfits like Marilyn Monroe and stuff, trying to get Jean Reno to like have sexual interest in her or whatever, or the character Leon or whatever. And when I was watching it, I kept thinking Chris Hansen was gonna like bust into my room and be like, "Caught you, motherfucker." I kind of laugh out of that. But yeah, Natalie Portman does an awesome job here. You can tell that she's much more like into roles like this and movies like this and like Black Swan than she ever was like the Star Wars stuff and the Thor stuff. The Thor stuff. That's why I'm kind of worried about Thor: Love and Thunder by Taika Waititi or whatever his name is, Waikiki. But because she doesn't really care about those Thor movies. You can tell when you're watching them. They're paychecks for her. But and at the same time, that's what the Star Wars movies felt like too. So she feels like somebody who really only cares about more artistic type stuff that she really wants to put her heart into, like this and Black Swan. So I am worried about Thor 4 because I feel like this might be an instance where she gets on there and she's like, "This is a paycheck, and I really don't give that much of a shit." You have a risk of that. So as far as this film goes here, though, she does an awesome job here. She really surprised me. As a child actor, she's really good here. But Gary Oldman pretty much steals this movie. And the whole, like, character relationship between Leon and Natalie Portman's character, how they're, like, going around killing drug dealers and shit, that was pretty fun. And when you get to the end of the movie, it's like Gary Oldman, of course, coming after him because she tried to go take revenge on him herself, and his man took her. And you get the idea that he's like a DEA agent, and he's, like, completely psychotic, though. Popping pills, like going over the top. It's like, how the hell does this guy even do a job? But that doesn't really matter. It's just pure entertainment value, and it works in the context of this movie. His performance does, and Gary Oldman is just a hoot in this film. when he turns around at the end of the movie during the climax and he's like, bring everyone, and the guy's like, everyone, and he turns around and screams and goes, everyone! And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The shit is hilarious. I was cracking up every time he was on screen. And when you get to the end, and if you know movies, you know where this is going. When it gets to the end here, and Leon is like walking out to go meet Natalie Portman's character of how he wants to be with her, you know Gary Oldman is like going to pop up behind this guy, and he does, and he blows the dude in like pretty much the back of the head or the back of the like through the neck maybe or through the chest, and then he falls over, and as he's dying, he like, here's a gift from Matilda, who's Natalie Portman's character or whatever, and because Gary Oldman has like his hand on his hand or whatever, and he like holds it up, opens his hand, and he sees like the pin switch of a grenade, and I knew it was coming, and then he looks at the camera and goes, shit, and blows up. It's so funny. I almost wish that they would just do like a spin-off flick just about Gary Oldman's character, but that time has passed now. He's too old for it now, but that would have been hilarious. But yeah, all in all, oh wait, before I forget, you get to the ending of this movie, and pretty much she winds up at like a school for, I guess, like orphans or something, and she's going there to stay like an all-kids type of place or something, and she's like planting Leon's plant out in the middle of the grass or whatever, the lawn. And she's talking about it or whatever, and talking about Leon and reminiscing about him, and that's where the movie ends. Yeah, 4 out of 4. I'd give Leon the Professional a 4. It was a masterpiece in terms of what it was, and very enjoyable, and I can't wait to pick it up on Blu-ray. I highly recommend that one. And Nikita, I also recommend, is a good one. These two, like back-to-back as a double feature, would be really enjoyable if you like French filmmaking and that type of style. But if you're not into it, if you're somebody who's like just grew up on American cinema and you really don't put any like exploration in the foreign style cinema and stuff like that, then you probably won't like either one of these movies, to be honest. And I know Nikita was turned into an actual television series and all that, which I get it. You're from an American point of view, you rip off what you can see is good in a foreign film and you stretch it out and try to make it your own. But I can also see why that movie would work as a television series. Like, that really did feel like something that would be better explored as a TV series, to be honest. But at the same time, though, it is funny how like different countries and stuff like that will see other movies that are quality and try to rip them off for their country because they know the people there who aren't hardcore cinema fans probably haven't seen them. It's pretty hilarious when you think about it, and I think every country does it. But yeah, all in all, these are both quality films, and I do recommend them. Luc Besson, he is a good director, but he is still kind of hit or miss with projects. But when he's good, he is really good. Nikita, Fifth Element, this one I have really enjoyed. And the only ones I haven't liked is Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets or whatever, and the Joan of Arc movie with Mila Jovovich, or however you say her name. And that's the thing, when it comes to foreign names for people from other countries, it's much harder for us to pronounce, so I'm not going to kid around on that. So that's why I'm not saying the woman's name who plays Nikita, because I have trouble pronouncing it, to be honest. But yeah, she does a great job here. So yeah, I'm off to check out some more Luc Besson flicks, and I hope you enjoyed the review.